How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Sanity here. So, you're probably thinking to yourself, Sanity, why in the hell are you making a video about the MamaMax response video? You've already responded to it within a live stream. Well, you see, well, one reason is because no one can really stop me, but the primary reason is so that way I can at least, well, make a bit more of a structured video, talking about this absolute terrible excuse of a response from MamaMax here. Now, of course, if you aren't really already caught up with everything that's been going on as of recently, allow me to quickly catch you guys up to speed. MamaMax is a self-proclaimed predator hunter who has been at his craft for about like 5 or so years, and in his recent case, going up against an alleged cult leader that goes by the name of Camden, he has essentially handled this entire case so unbelievably poorly that he has effectively become a massive laughingstock, with of course one of the main things heralding his ultimate and eventual downfall being his video in which he clickbaits exposing Critical, but it's more or less just a cry for attention. And because of this, it ended up causing an absolute cascade of information to be released about MamaMax, such as the fact that, well, a significant number of the cases that he is supposedly engaged in not even being real, a lot of contradictions in what he has said about certain cases, and of course just an overall pattern of him just not really giving an actual flying fuck about the victims, and just using them more as just a shield. Extremely simply, it is just, well, MamaMax was just revealed to be nothing more than just an absolute fraud that actually doesn't care about what it is that he's doing. And surprisingly enough, within his response video, unlike his last response video to the initial criticism of his first video about this entire case, he decided to at least drop the fucking jigsaw filter and decide to speak normally for once. And the thing is that that is the only compliment that I can even give this entire response, because everything else is absolutely dog shit. Like, first of all, and I feel like I might as well just mention this considering that I made an entire meme video out of it, a good significant chunk of his response video is either just straight up dead air, absolute nothingness, or him making just like absolutely like hollow statements that ultimately mean nothing because he has yet to prove anything, and his actions beforehand have proven that he's just going to continue to do what it is that he's doing without realizing what he has done wrong, and why he's even under fire in the first place. And it's even, well, present and evident within the actual response video itself, but we'll get into that, do not worry. But what about the rest of the video, you may be asking? Well, that's what I'm about to be getting into, as there's a few particular points that I feel like at least addressing within his entire response video that end up becoming just kind of repeat offenses throughout the entire video, so I might as well just address them whenever they first show up, and just kind of point out the absolute bullshit within each and every single time that it's brought up.
So, I just completed a 30-minute video called Silencing All Survivors.
So here's the thing, he literally starts off his response video by talking about the fact that he just finished up a completely different video that is yet to even be released on his channel. And of course, it has an absolutely outlandish title because of fucking course it does. Max, no one actually cares about your goddamn pet projects. They want you to actually respond to the criticism and not fucking deflect. But of course, that's not what he's actually going to do within this video. And it's definitely not what he would have done within his Silencing All Survivors video. I highly doubt that he would have addressed literally fucking anything within that goddamn video. I could only imagine just how bad that must have been.
I feel like I'm in an impossible position where I just can't seem to do the right thing.
Now here's probably the only time in which he actually does say something correct, and that is the fact that he can't seem to do the right thing. And let's put it this way, this response video was definitely not the right thing to do because of just how terrible it was. You probably should have actually addressed the criticism rather than just doing this fucking weird song and dance that you decide to do throughout this entire 15-minute fucking drone of a video. Like, it's just terrible. It is just a terrible fucking response video in every single sense of the goddamn word. And of course, it extends to even just his other content, especially his recent campaign against this fucking Camden individual, because he has handled that entire case as poorly as one could potentially even fucking handle it.
I'm sorry to Charlie for dragging him into a case that is not necessarily his fight.
Now, of course, this is about 2.5 minutes into the actual fucking response in which he actually apologizes. Mind you, Charlie does actually deserve a bit of an apology, but this apology does in fact seem pretty fucking hollow, let's put it that way. After all, if you actually had any level of forethought, you probably wouldn't have even made that video in the first place. You probably could have just, I don't know, not made a fucking outlandish clickbait video, acting like you were exposing goddamn Critical, especially knowing the kind of person that you have a reputation of actually being, which is of course being a fucking predator hunter, and you making a video titled "This is the greatest cancellation of all time" would obviously have a lot of fucking implications to it. But of course you didn't fucking think about that. All you thought about was, oh, Daddy Critical is not giving me attention. Better make a fucking, bombastic video where I basically just cry for 10 minutes. Like, you don't even directly apologize for what you've actually done. Like, yes, this entire case isn't even his fight, and to an extent, it's not even your fight either. You shouldn't even have taken up this fucking case, but of course you decided to do so because you have a fucking hero complex.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to my audience who don't even know what the heck is going on. Like, I'm uploading shorts, I'm doing live streams, I'm doing weird-ass videos.
Now, of course, directly after this is when he actually apologizes to the audience for not being entirely direct. And, of course, he follows this up by stating that he places all of the accountability for how poorly he's handled this case in his own hands, which once again feels extremely fucking hollow. You see, if you even knew how to handle a case properly, you probably wouldn't have even done it in this way in the first place. But, of course, since you don't actually care, and your only defense is, oh, well, Spencer gave me the fucking green light, that just says more about, well, your own integrity than it actually does say about literally anyone else. Let's put it that way.
Making all these public attacks, not platforming any of us, not wanting to talk to the survivors themselves. And when people do talk to the survivors, they're getting attacked. Just because they're transgender.
Here, and this is probably the most egregious, time that he actually does it, and it is, of course, a classic of just using the survivors as a shield against any and all criticism. And of course, within this particular clip, he just uses the fact that some of the survivors are in fact trans and uses that as a way to deflect criticism. Listen, I'm not going to deny that there are in fact some fucking, really fucking stupid people out there that would in fact attack survivors just because they're trans. I'm not going to deny that. But this just seems more or less of just a way for you to continuously deflect criticism using the survivors as a shield, rather than an actual, way of you stating this is not okay and people should actually just, listen to the survivors. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense in my personal opinion.
But you can't just tell your story anymore. Now you need concrete evidence. Now you need to go to law enforcement multiple times. Now you need to consult with lawyers.
And then finally, there's this last bit right here, which honestly is probably the most infuriating part, and that is, of course, the fact that he seems to take issue with the simple notion of people asking for evidence of any of these fucking claims, or at least more concrete evidence than what he's actually provided. Now, I don't exactly understand why MamaMax would even have a problem with this. After all, it would pretty much be paramount for, someone to make insane claims to have some evidence to actually back it up, other than a fucking, what appears to be a Facebook post talking about getting blown by Kirby. I still can't get over the fact that that was an actual piece of evidence that he's actually provided within one of his videos. I'm not making this shit up. But, why do you have an issue with people asking for evidence? Here's the thing. People are listening to these survivors, but the thing is that all you really seem to have is out-of-context screenshots, a bunch of shit that makes no sense, and anecdotes. And that's really all you have. That's the main problem. No shit, people are going to be asking for evidence. People can't just take things at face value, because if people just took things at face value, then there would just be nothing but absolute fucking chaos, and people would be able to get away with literally fucking anything. And that's the main reason why you're being held to account, because you provide very little, if any, actual tangible fucking evidence to back up anything within your entire case. And of course, the way that he ends off this video is, of course, with a good old-fashioned 5-minute long segment, basically displaying the fact that he's going to continue this case and continue to turn this into a fucking ARG for some fucking reason. Basically displaying that he either A, doesn't actually know why he's receiving criticism, or B, showing that he doesn't give a fuck that he's receiving criticism, and will continue to fuck up the case with how he's currently fucking handling it. It's just... At best, it's extremely fucking tone-deaf, and at worst, it's just Max showing that he doesn't actually give a shit, and none of his words actually mattered within his response, if they even did so to begin with. It's just infuriating. It's just a genuinely fucking infuriating video at the end of the day, and that's really all I have to say about it. But yeah, anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like. That's very well appreciated. Leave a comment down below what you thought about the video, what you want me to talk about next, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more content such as this. And also go ahead and follow me on Twitter and join the server down below if you feel like doing so. And yeah, anyways, guys, this has been Sandy, and have yourselves a nice day.